Welcome to the Compact Mysteries podcast from compactmysteries.com, the show where we try to unravel a different bite-sized mystery each week. From baffling disappearances and strange objects to unexplained events and mysterious places. This is episode 40, The Disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. They say power doesn't vanish overnight, but sometimes people do. On the 30th of July 1975, Jimmy Hoffa stood in the parking lot of a suburban Detroit restaurant, waiting to meet two men for lunch. He checked his watch. He made a phone call, and then he was never seen again. That's not poetic exaggeration. Hoffa, one of the most powerful union leaders in American history, literally disappeared. No witnesses, no body, no trace. Just an unlocked car, an unanswered phone, and a flood of rumours that would swirl for decades. To understand why his disappearance still haunts us, you have to know who he was. James Riddle Hoffa was born in 1913 and raised in Detroit. By the time he was in his 20s, he was organising workers and taking on employers head first. He wasn't afraid of confrontation. In fact, he seemed to thrive on it. Hoffa climbed the ranks of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the powerful union for truckers and warehouse workers, becoming its national president in 1957. Under Hoffa's leadership, the Teamsters experienced explosive growth in power and membership. They negotiated massive wage increases and became a political force to be reckoned with. But Hoffa's style came with shadows. He had deep ties to the mafia. He played rough, and not everyone in power appreciated his influence, especially the Kennedy family. Robert F. Kennedy, in particular, saw Hoffa as a threat and made it a personal crusade to bring him down. Eventually, he succeeded. Hoffa was convicted in 1964 for jury tampering, fraud, and bribery. He began serving a 13-year sentence in 1967. But even prison didn't break Hoffa. He was constantly planning his comeback. In 1971, President Nixon commuted his sentence. Hoffa was free, but on one big condition. He had to stay out of union activity until 1980. That condition didn't sit well with him. By 1975, Hoffa was actively plotting a return to Teamsters leadership. He still had plenty of support and saw the people who had taken over in his absence as weak or worse, compromised by the mob. He wanted his throne back. On the day he vanished, Hoffa told his family he was meeting two men for lunch, Tony Jack Giacalone, a Detroit mobster, and Tony Pro Provenzano, a union leader with mafia ties. Hoffa and Provenzano had history, and not the friendly kind. At around 2:45 in the afternoon, Hoffa called his wife from a payphone. The men hadn't shown up. That was the last confirmed contact anyone had with him. Later that evening, his green Pontiac was found in the parking lot. Unlocked, but otherwise untouched. No sign of a struggle. No note. Nothing. The FBI was called in. What followed was one of the most extensive manhunts in American history. Theories flooded in. Some said Hoffa was lured into a car, taken to a house in Detroit, and killed. Others claimed he was taken to New Jersey and buried under Giants Stadium. There were whispers of car crushers, steel drums, vats of acid, and anonymous cremations. And with each year that passed, the myth only grew. One thing was clear. Hoffa had made enemies. His efforts to regain control of the Teamsters posed a threat to both union leaders and organised crime figures who had grown comfortable in his absence. The Teamsters pension fund under Hoffa had become a cash cow for the mob. It financed casinos in Las Vegas, major construction projects and real estate deals. If Hoffa returned to power, some of those deals might unravel, some of those secrets might spill out. Some people believed that a meeting was held among prominent mafia families in Detroit, Chicago, and New York to authorize a hit on Hoffa. It's never been proven. But if it happened, it would explain how someone with Hoffa's visibility could vanish so completely. The FBI spent years chasing down leads. They dug up properties. They raided warehouses. In one bizarre twist, they even searched beneath Giants Stadium in New Jersey. They found nothing. In 2001, a breakthrough, sort of. A strand of Hoffa's hair was found in a car linked to Charles "Chucky" O'Brien, a long-time Hoffa associate who had denied any involvement. It confirmed that Hoffa had been in the car, but nothing more. It didn't explain what happened to him. It didn't point to a killer. Then came the deathbed confessions. One former hitman claimed to have shot Hoffa, another claimed to have helped move the body. Martin Scorsese's 2019 film The Irishman popularised the theory that Frank Sheeran, a close Hoffa associate, pulled the trigger. It made for compelling cinema, but historians have cast doubt on the accuracy of that account. Still, the fascination with Hoffa refuses to die. In part, that's because he was such a larger-than-life figure. He was a hero to many working-class Americans, a man who took on the bosses and won. To others, he was a thug in a suit, using violence and corruption to get what he wanted. Either way, he represented a unique moment in American labor history, a time when unions had real teeth and weren't afraid to bite. When Hoffa disappeared, so did an era. In 1982, he was officially declared dead. But the case remains open, technically unsolved. No body, no charges, no closure. And maybe that's why the story still captivates. It's not just about what happened to Hoffa, it's about what he stood for. Power, loyalty, betrayal, ambition, and a dangerous dance with forces that don't forgive and never forget. Jimmy Hoffa stepped into that parking lot a living legend. He left behind a mystery. I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Compact Mysteries podcast from compactmysteries.com. If you did, why not leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts? And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you would like to support us more directly, please consider buying us a coffee. Head on over to compacthistories.com/mysteries coffee to see how. Also, please check out our other Compact podcasts. You will find them all at compacthistories.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.